Tom Thibodeau has revealed his plan for the 2024 NBA season when it comes to the center position. As we know, Isaiah Hartenstein no longer on this team. The Knicks really haven't done anything to replace him, but it sounds like Tom Thibodeau has a plan up his sleeve. My question to you, though, before we dive into this, we've got quotes, we've got thoughts, and we've got analysis. What is your confidence level in the centers on the Knicks roster right now? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 being you got all the confidence, and 1 being no confidence, 10 being all the confidence in the world. Let me know your thoughts down below. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by as we are less than a month away from preseason basketball being back, and we're a month and 4 days away from the Knicks taking on the Boston Celtics. But the reason for today's video is Tom Thibodeau did a sit-down interview with NBA.com, and he revealed his plan for how the Knicks are going to attack the center position. Unfortunately, Isaiah Hartenstein did leave the New York Knicks to go sign with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thanks to the CBA for the really BS rules that they have on the early bird rights versus bird rights nonsense, Knicks weren't able to pay him as much money as he wanted, even though he really found himself in his NBA career with the Knicks. The Knicks should benefit from bringing a guy in on an $8 million salary, and 3 years later he's turning into a $30 million player. But you know what? The NBA, they didn't think that one all the way through. The Knicks players at the center position on the depth chart right now include Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, who's really a 4, but I'm going to include him as a center because I think that's where he'll get the most of his work this year. And you got Jericho Sims. There's been a lot of people saying this is the year that Jericho Sims takes the leap. It was Deuce McBride last year. It was Hartenstein the year before. They're saying this is the year of Jericho. With all respect in the world to Mr. Sims, I will believe it when I see it. Look, you know, I know that the Knicks know that the center spot is weak. Like, if you could turn injuries off and you guarantee me that Robinson will play 60-plus games and that he's going to be available for the playoffs, I feel confident in that. But I don't feel confident that he will do so. The question that we've talked about time and time again on this show is, could we see Julius Randle play some small ball 5 for the Knicks this year for certain stretches? No, Julius Randle is not going to be your starting center. I'm not sure he'll play more than 10 minutes per game at that center spot. But I thought it was really interesting, the answer that Tom Thibodeau gave to NBA.com when they asked him, what's the plan at the center spot with iHeart no longer in the fold? This is what Thibs said. We could see Julius more at the 5. I don't want to do that for long stretches. It would take its toll. But to have him do it for 10 or 15 minutes, I think he could do it well. He would also create a lot of offensive advantages. Look, call me surprised, because in the videos that we've done on this topic before, I felt as if Tom Thibodeau would not do it, because the DNA, the basketball ideology that runs through the head of Tom Thibodeau is offensive and defensive rebounding, controlling the glass, and putting a lot on the plate when it comes to defensive responsibilities of his centers. Look at Joakim Noah. Look at Mitchell Robinson. And look at Isaiah Hartenstein. All of them have been the quarterback of the defense. That's what you are when you are the center for a Tom Thibodeau team. And look, we know that Julius Randle is an average defender. We know he's not a great rim protector. And Thibs knows Randle can't play a lot at center. But the thing that stuck out to me the most was Thibs talked about the offensive advantages that it would create with Randle at center. And it absolutely would. You would have a wide open court. And imagine if your closing lineup was something along the lines of Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Julius Randle. I included Josh Hart over a guy like DiVincenzo because Josh Hart's going to give you more size. Josh Hart is going to give you more improvement on the margins. He's a bigger body. He can play bigger than the size that he is, and he can attack the glass on both sides of the floor. And I think if Thibodeau is going to sacrifice rebounding by taking out Robinson or taking out Achiuwa, he wants to replace that in some sort of way with Josh Hart on the floor. That could easily be DiVincenzo. It could. Whether it's Hart or DiVincenzo, though, with that closing lineup, you have 5 weapons on offense at one time. You can play a true 5-out offense for the first time under a Tom Thibodeau-led Knicks team. Imagine the center guarding Julius Randle Randle's out on the perimeter, and you've got a wide open lane for Jalen Brunson to cook. You've got a wide open lane for OG Anunoby to attack off a catch-and-shoot spot. You got Mikal Bridges working in the mid-range with no help on that center spot. The ability to stretch the floor will open up this offense. That's really what the best teams in the NBA do. They have multiple styles they can play, but all of them have that five-out offense. Look at the Boston Celtics. Look at the Dallas Mavericks. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look at the Denver Nuggets. They can do it with them. Even Joel Embiid, they can do it. When you have 5 threats to score the basketball at one time, you are going to put a lot of pressure on opposing teams. And when your center can get you 25, 10, and 5 like Julius Randle and everyone else can score and shoot, it's going to be tough for other teams to stop. My question to you before we continue to dive into this conversation is this. Do you want to see Julius at the 5 this season? There are definite pros and there are definite cons. One of the pros, 5 out on offense. Offensive juggernaut. The other thing, we'll talk about in a second, why for yes and for no. When it comes to the cons of Julius Randle playing that center position, I do worry about the lack of rim protection. Because at the end of the day, you are, I'm not going to say small, but you're not a big team either with Julius Randle at the 5 at 6'8", and OG at the 4 at 6'8", and Mikal Bridges at the 3 at 6'6", and DiVincenzo or Josh Hart at 6'3" and 6'5" at the 2, and a small Jalen Brunson. Your defense would take a hit, but I think that when you have the wing defenders that you do in Hart, in OG, and Bridges, it can kind of take some of the pressure off of the need for a rim protector. And I honestly believe, and we've kind of heard the Knicks hint at this, that OG would guard the scoring centers. We saw that. I don't remember if it was Game 4 or Game 5. I believe it was Game 4 against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the 2024 playoffs. OG Anunoby was the one guarding Joel Embiid in that fourth quarter. And we've heard that Thibodeau thinks OG can do everything on defense, including playing that center position. I like the idea of OG being that elite help defender, but you don't play too many centers in this league that are just going to dominate you. And obviously, if you play a Denver Nuggets or you play a Philadelphia 76ers, that's probably not the game you're going to have Randle play that 5 spot. What about the Boston Celtics when they go Al Horford at the 5 and KP's hurt? That's a pretty dang good matchup, and it's very intriguing to see how the Boston Celtics would respond to that. Coming up in a second, we'll talk about that and more. But first, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking for last-minute tickets to go to an NFL game this season, or you want to get your tickets for the Knicks season this year, download the Game Time app and use the promo code ChatSports and get $20 off your first purchase. I love Game Time. It's the only ticketing app that I use. You get to access your tickets from your phone. You get the lowest price guaranteed, and prices actually drop as the events get closer, and you get views from the seats. Make sure you also take advantage of these 2 specials and offers that they have and features that they have. All in pricing. That way the price you see is the price you pay, and the Game Time picks one as well. It personalizes your feed to where you only see your favorite teams, your favorite artists, your favorite bands, making it that much more easy to go see your favorite people perform. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. What time is it? Game time. Download the app. Support the show. Support the sponsor. One thing that a lot of people, myself included, that have critiqued Tom Thibodeau is his lack of change, his lack of evolving, not being a part of the modern day basketball and using the formula that other teams have created to win games at a high level in the modern day. But Tom Thibodeau is evolving, and it's not just on defense, it's on offense as well. He said this to NBA.com. I thought it was really interesting. I think the league overall has shifted. Your 2s, 3s, and 4s are more wing-oriented now. Guys who can guard 4 positions. Or in some cases, we've got guys who can guard all 5. Allow you to do a lot more switching. And if there's a rebounding component to that, you're not sacrificing your defense. You're turning your opponent into more of an isolation type of team where they're working against the clock and settling, hopefully, for long mid-range jumpers. Maybe old dogs do learn new tricks. Maybe we won't have to see everybody fighting over screens and we're switching. Because that's how you're going to beat the Boston Celtics. That's why you went out and you got an OG Anunoby. That's why you went out and got a Mikal Bridges. That's why you traded for Josh Hart 2 years ago, to have the ability to have game wreckers on defense that can switch every single spot. OG can guard every position on the floor. Mikal Bridges can guard most 1 through 4s. You got Josh Hart. This dude plays every single position on the basketball floor. And when you go up against Boston, who you are preparing to play in the most pivotal series, potentially, since 1999, you need OG Anunoby and you need Mikal Bridges in the hip pocket of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown every single game. They're elite defenders. Basketball Index have graded them out year over year as two of the best wing defenders, specifically in the ISO situations. What did Tom Thibodeau say? We want you to hunt switches because we have switchability on defense, and we want you to try to work in ISO situations with the shot clock coming down, taking deep mid-range jumpers. How do you do that? You get two of the better ISO defenders in the league. The Knicks, they've got those guys. This defense can be scary, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't get, I think, the full experience of OG Anunoby due to the injuries and him coming over late into the season. But now he's got a training camp under, or will have a training camp under his belt, learning how Tom Thibodeau wants to play defense. Same with Mikal Bridges. And I think Julius Randle is going to be more motivated than ever to contribute on the defensive side of the ball, because we don't really need Julius Randle out there if he's not going to play defense. He knows he has to. And he said he's going to do whatever it takes to win games. I'll believe that when I see it. Look, I think Thibs deserves a lot of credit for how he continues to evolve his game. Like, what he was looked at and defined as the coach of the Chicago Bulls, the only thing that's really carried over, in my opinion, is the defensive and toughness mindset. This is a completely different offense that they've run. They're shooting more threes than they ever did with Chicago. And on defense, he's showing you that he's willing to play Julius Randle at the 5. He is a different coach than when he first took this job. It was rough, it was rugged, it was my way or the highway. And now he's got a guy in Jalen Brunson who I think he respects enough to listen to. And this might be the first time in his career that he's listened to the players this much. I mean, this team was built for Tom Thibodeau. You got your general. You got your quarterback. You got your point guard, Jalen Brunson. You have your two pass-rushing, game-wrecking edges in Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. You've got your bully ball 4, that if you want to play that ISO game, Randle can do that just as good as any other power forward in this league. You've got a two-way monster on the glass in Mitchell Robinson. You've got a veteran point guard in Cam Payne. You've got a demon from both sides of the floor, especially from deep, and DiVincenzo off the bench. You've got Josh Hart. Like, if Tom Thibodeau could create a my player, it would be Josh Hart. Every single piece that Tom Thibodeau could ever want in an NBA team is on this roster. And it's nice to see that he's willing to do things that take him out of his comfort zone and show that he has grown to help this team reach their maximum potential. I don't think Randle needs to play all the time at the center. I'd like 5 to 10 minutes. I think it could be very advantageous for this ball club. 53.5 wins for the Knicks this year. That's what the line in Las Vegas has been set at. What do you think? Over? Under? I want to hear from everybody in the chat. And if you haven't yet, please, please, please give me a follow on social media. As the Knicks season gets closer and closer, I'm going to be doing way more content on Twitter and way more content on Instagram. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_. And let's go Knicks!